Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Gianna, and this is Bridget. I know you guys haven't seen Bridget yet, but she is also a awesome person like I am. And we both love true crime, so we decided that we were going to team up, and we are going to do it together. Say hi, Bridget.
Hey, Bridget.
Loser. Okay, so we
Oh,
just
I
wanted to come and make like a first video really quick because actually we were planning on doing a different video on the Green River Killer, but it got interrupted tonight by a mass shooting at the Michigan State University. So we decided that we were like, okay, we're going to get the video out really quick, and that's what we're doing here. So we came to kind of just come and give you guys some facts on what happened and what unfolded tonight at that campus. Yeah. So let's see. So I know that they started, like the first call came in at 8:18 p.m. and it was shots fired, like shots on the campus, and first responders were there very quickly, like within minutes. And
hmm
there were multiple injuries, but we didn't really know what kind of injuries, how many people, anything like that. And they put an immediate shelter in place while they could figure it out.
Yeah, I think that first text to the students went out at 8:23.
Okay,
So pretty
8:23.
quick. Yeah.
Very quick
Yep.
within this. Awesome. Okay. So I came in on the story, I think it was like 10 because I was getting ready for Banfield. And so it was about 2 hours after. And so from that time, they still had not found anyone, and they were just giving like the description of the guy. And at first they were just saying he was a black male, he was short, and he had a mask. And that there was one of the spokeswomen for the college said that there was one fatality so far, but that was not being confirmed, right? At the time?
Yeah. Yeah. No, they hadn't. I mean, they got to the scene quick, but at the end of the day, we didn't really get a whole lot of information. You know, we didn't really get a lot at all to begin with. So it was just kind of touch and go, it seemed like, for a while. I mean, till almost right up into the end of it.
Yeah, for sure. Like the only thing that I heard was that they were telling the students to run, fight, and hide. Like, and to turn their lights
Yeah.
off, shelter in place. And at that time, it was only one
Yeah.
suspect. And then we were hearing on the scanners all of these multiple, like, shots fired in, like, all of the different dorms, or, like, halls, they call them.
Mhm. Yeah.
But
I heard on the police scanner. Go ahead.
no, I was,
I heard
I
on
don't
the
know.
police. I heard on the police scanner that people were saying that there were shots coming from three different directions. And I was thinking about that, and the only thing that I can really come up with, so I looked it up, and the campus is 5,200 acres. So it might be possible that they were hearing it maybe echoing and weren't really sure of where it was coming from. So that's where I think the rumors that were going on at first about multiple shooters was coming from, being that nobody could really tell where anything was coming from.
Right, right. So I have the map up of the campus just to kind of show how actually big that campus is. I mean, this campus is so big that they had like their own police station on campus. I wouldn't be surprised if they have their own like fire department, etc. Kind of, it's like a little town. That's kind of how these big campuses work. Um, but yeah, I think that also there was so many kids that were scared. So they were just reporting
Mhm.
if they heard anything. So if you were in like one of the halls and it was happening in another hall and you heard it, it might have sounded like it was in your hall. So they were just like
Right.
calling and reporting these things. So
Yeah.
we do know that it started at what they call Berkey Hall, is what everybody said. I'm not sure if it's Berkey Hall or Berkeley Hall, one of the two. It's the same place if you hear it said either way.
Right.
And then at the student union, and those were the only two confirmed places that shots were ever fired.
Yeah.
Because at 11
I think
p.m.,
it is. I was just going to say, I think it is Berkey Hall because I was looking at, like I wasn't sure because I'm not familiar with Michigan. So I was hearing all these names of places on the scanners tonight. I was literally just going to Google. I'm like, where is this? And so that's how I was able to figure out what before I even pulled up the map. I was like, okay, that's on campus, but I think it is Berkey, not Berkeley, which is, you know,
yeah,
irrelevant really, but yeah, it is
no,
Berkey.
absolutely. Okay, cool. Because at 11 p.m., they said there was shots at Wonders Hall, at Bryan Hall, at McDonald Hall. Like, we were listening to the scanner, and this is what they were saying. But none of that was true.
Yeah.
And so I guess we'll just like skip to the, like let's just get into like the actual like what it happened.
Right.
So there was 3 fatalities and 5 injured in the end. So, and the 5 injured, a lot of them were, or all of them, the police didn't specify how many of them were in critical condition or kind of touch and go. But of the 5, there definitely were at least all 5 or some of them in that condition when we last heard anything. And then they did say that it was a black male and he was very short. He had red shoes, a jean jacket, and a ball cap on. And I will put his picture up that they gave us. So this is the picture that they gave us of him, and what he looked like. You can't really see his face. He had a mask over his face. So he did have a mask on, just like not like a full head mask, but like just like a COVID mask.
Right.
Yeah.
And you can tell from that picture that he was short. So that definitely, you can tell he wasn't very tall in that picture.
Yeah, I mean, his shoulders when he's going up the stairs here, like his shoulders are not much higher than like that like railing. So he was
Right.
pretty short. He has to be maybe even like shorter than I am. I'm only 5'5", but like maybe 5'5".
Right.
All right, let's see here. So then he went out the back of the student union onto the north side of it, and that's where I think they lost track of him for so long, because if this shooting's only happened in these
Right.
2 places, he dipped out the back. And then what time did they find him?
The first time I heard that they had made any kind of contact with him was like 11:54, but that was over the police scanner, so I'm not sure if there was like a delay in that, but at 11:54 is when the first that I heard that law enforcement had made contact with somebody that matched the description of the suspect, and right away they said that he had shot himself. So I would say probably between 11:52 and 11:54.
Okay, and so they walked up to him, because that's kind of what happened. Was they saw him, they walked up to him, they approached him, and then he unalived himself.
Yeah.
I'm assuming he shot himself, like in the brain, like in the head. I don't know. That's not confirmed. We don't know like what happened with that so far. Like we don't know
Right.
who he is, how he unalived himself, how any of that information so far.
Right.
Yeah, so that last press conference, really, they just kind of said, like, there's no more threat, so there isn't more than one shooter, like we had thought previously.
Right.
And they were no longer sheltering in place. Students could leave. They gave a number for the tip line, and that is 844-99-MSUPD. That's the tip line if anybody has any tips for law enforcement about the incident. They are not sure of his affiliation with the university. They don't know his ID. At this time that we're reporting this, they don't know any of this stuff. And they also said that they wouldn't release the names of the 8 victims, because I'm assuming they hadn't contacted their families yet or identified all of them or any of that, and they didn't want their families to hear their names for the first time on TV.
Right.
That they're not there anymore.
I think the only information they really gave us about the suspect to this point is that what they had found on him, which was that other firearm, the multiple magazines that were in his backpack. But other than that, we don't really, and then the picture, which doesn't really show us much.
Right. Yeah. So
that's really all we know.
Yes, because he did have we heard this over the scanner, that when they went up to him, they tried to do CPR on him. They did try and save him. Didn't work. But they did find a second handgun and more magazines in his backpack. So that made me really think. Like, he had all of this ammo and then didn't use it.
Yeah.
Thank God.
I'm curious to know well, thank God. Yeah, for sure. But I'm curious to know how many shots he did get, like how many he did get versus what he had left on him, because I mean, he was, if you think about it, from 8:18 to almost midnight, that's a long time. Well, then again, are they on the same is that same time as East Coast Michigan? I think it is, right?
So no, they're in Central Time. So right now it's 1:12 there.
Oh, gotcha. But still, I mean, it went on for hours, and for luckily such a small number of victims, that is weird to me. That is really, really weird to me, because if you think about past mass shootings, they didn't really go on for this long, where the suspect was just like, they didn't even know where he was, and
yeah.
So that is weird. I mean, thank God, but
right.
At the end of the day, I'm hoping we get some more answers with this other press conference in a little bit, and then in the next coming days. But right now, it's just like, it's really confusing as to, there's a lot of questions right now.
Yeah,
there's really a lot.
Curious to know how many shots he actually got off, how many hit, right? Because how many, did he shoot 45 times and only 8 landed, or how many was that? And then also, like you said, they normally don't go on for this long, and if they do, it's because the person is holding people hostage, or they're still perpetrating the crime. Like, he went in, did those shots that he did, and then dipped out, and then tried to hide. Right. And it could have been because of the police presence, though.
Yeah, I mean, from what was said at that press conference at 12:20, there was a lot of people out there. There was a lot of, I mean, if you think about it, with the university having their own police department, I'm sure the city's police was there too. And not to mention, I think they said SWAT was out there too.
FBI.
Yeah, I mean, there was, that place was packed.
They had the Homeland Security helicopter.
Yep.
So they said, that was one thing that they emphasized. They emphasized how many, they were every single department in this city sent people here to help with this. And so I think that really deterred him from maybe keeping going into other halls and and trying to hide.
Yeah.
But on the one video we saw on Twitter, he was just
I was just gonna say that.
He was walking down the street, nobody knew who he was.
I mean, at that point, I think they had the suspect's description already,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So why uh, that is mind-blowing to me that and this is the thing too. I get it's a big campus, but at the end of the day, how the hell were all these different agencies present, but there was nobody there in that video? Like you
Yeah.
didn't see like cops in the background, like there was nobody there. It was just walking. Like he just looked like a normal person just like walking.
Yeah.
And then that's crazy to me. That's crazy to me. I mean, especially considering they had a description at that point.
Yeah, but I think what probably happened was there was so many reports of shots being fired in the halls, like in the residences and in the dorms, that they focused everything there because they thought that's where he was, and so they probably pulled the police that they had where he was walking,
That's
and
true.
that's why he was walking there, right? Because it was like the
That's
only place
true.
that didn't have the police.
That's
But yeah,
true.
so that's really all that we know so far. I don't think that we're gonna get much more based off of like why motive, because, and I think that's what everybody's really gonna want to know is motive. But unless he wrote it down somewhere or texted it to somebody and they get that information, like he's not here anymore. And so I can't imagine being those three people that actually did Dai's family. And I just pray for those 5 other victims that they recover and nothing else happens to them.
Right. And I think it's important to note too that in that press conference, they said that they hadn't received any threats prior to this. So I think it's unlikely that, I mean, I don't know. Do you think it was something that he had planned to do? Or, I mean, like
I don't know.
a
I don't know.
manifesto or something?
It seemed to me like maybe it was a little more targeted.
Yeah.
Only because like he had the means to do much more.
Yeah.
I mean, I like hate to think that way, obviously, but it just seemed like a
Yeah.
little, like if you came in there with 2 handguns and like a whole bag of ammunition, and that's why I said like I wanted to see how many shots he actually got off first,
Right.
because if
Yeah.
it was just like 10 shots and he hit 8 people and then like dipped out, I'm like, okay, well, like obviously he went after some people.
Right.
I
Right.
think that the victims, once we know who they are, will tell a lot about, victimology tells you a lot about these types of crimes.
Yeah.
If they're all, like young African American males, that might tell us more than it being like just random mix of ages and races and,
Right.
all of those things. Yeah, I'm not really sure what the like crime is like in Michigan. I don't know that, as far as
Let me look that
like,
up.
yeah, I don't know, you know what I'm saying, like as far as like
Yeah.
what happens out
What
there. Is
city?
there
Let me
gangs
see.
related out there? Is there like a lot of drugs happening out there? Is there a lot of like, what's the scene where the campus is what does the surrounding area look like? Is it high income? Is it low income? I don't really know. Not that it matters, because like this shouldn't happen anyways. Um
Let me see. Okay, so um, Michigan State University is located in East Lansing. So, about East Lansing, what it says is that the crime rate there is considerably higher than the national average across all communities in America, although at 27 crimes per 1,000 residents, it's not among the communities with the very highest crime rate. So, they have a significant crime rate, but it's not like considered to be among the highest. You know what I mean?
okay. Yeah, I mean, I guess we're just going to have to wait and find out and kind of see that victimology and what that looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what we
Yeah.
got for you
I think
guys
that's
on
the
this.
challenge.
Yeah, it'll definitely be
Yep,
really, really
that's
telling.
all. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm hoping we'll know more tomorrow. Um, but I mean, there's not going to be a trial. There's not going to be anything like that. So, you know, they really can tell us within reason what's going on. It seems like they've been really transparent so far. So,
Yeah, I mean, like you said, there's not going to be like a jury pool or anything that doesn't need to know like
right,
information. So we should be able to
right.
know right away what's going on.
Hopefully,
Yeah.
hopefully.
All right, guys. Thanks so much for coming, and we will update when we have more.
Yep,
Have
you
a
got
nice
it. Thanks,
night.
guys.
Bye. Hey, guys. So when we finished doing that video, we got a little bit of an update, and Bridget's going to give that to you.
Yeah, so at that 1:30 press conference, the what is he called? I'm having a brain fart. I'm
Suspect.
sorry. Um, no. I was gonna say it was the deputy Michigan State University police chief. His name's Chris Rosman. He said that they had confirmed that the suspect was a 43-year-old male who had absolutely zero affiliation with the university, and they have no clue basically what he was even doing on campus, why he did what he did. They still don't really have much, but we do know at this point that it was a 43-year-old male with no affiliation to the university. So that's where we're at.
Wow. All right, guys. That's all we have for now. But as soon as we have more updates, we'll be back.